Good morning, Lewis. I'm Frankie Corso with Brandon Najera. Today is October 1st, 2024. Thank you for joining us this early morning.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you're all feeling energized and ready to take the day ahead.
Can you believe that it's October?
I'm just ready for it to be Halloween, honestly, already.
I couldn't believe that it was October this morning when we were talking about it because I thought it was still September.
Honestly, yeah.
Fall break next week?
I'm excited for that. I'm going to sleep in as much as I can.
I'm already hitting a wall, so. Let's start by checking out the latest trending topics. For our first post, we have my tweet. This is a text thread with a dog, and it's Supper with the Pupper. I thought this was iconic. I absolutely adored this. Look at his little smile.
It's adorable.
He's so cute.
What is he eating?
I think steak. He gets a luxury meal.
And he got a little, is that the couch or is he wearing a hat?
He's wearing a hat.
He's adorable, honestly.
And on to post number 2.
This was mine. Cartoon Network is reportedly interesting in doing 44 more episodes of regular show. This show's really weird, but I like it, and I think I've been watching it for like a while.
I've heard of regular show, but I've never watched it, I don't think. Like, I've never been really into the Simpsons, regular show, South Park type deal.
I couldn't describe it to you. Like, it's a weird concept to like talk to about somebody. I think you'd have to watch it for me.
I think I do. I think you're right.
Yeah.
All right, on to our next post. Okay, this is actually me solely because I just said this yesterday to one of my friends. I was like, okay, I'm going to relax Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'm going to get up and be productive. And I know that it's probably not true. That will probably be me. Like, I won't be able to get my life together because, I'm hitting a wall. I need to just, like, keep going. Stay a little more consistent.
He looks so comfortable.
That's what I'm saying.
I look like that when I tell myself I'm going to do something the next morning, like to be productive, and I'd just rather just lay down.
Yes, and then I'm like, I don't think it's in the cards for me today.
Maybe tomorrow.
Right?
On to our next tweet. This is mine. The Chicago Bulls were back in basketball season. I'm excited. Maybe I'll go to a preseason game. The team's looking good too. I hope Lonzo comes back.
Have you been to a Bulls game?
I have.
I haven't.
Really?
Are they fun?
Yeah, I like it way more like being there than in person.
Really?
I mean,
or than
okay,
watching it?
flip that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like watching it on TV because I get bored.
Yeah.
I need to be doing something. But when you're there and you just see them in person, it's like, it's something else.
See, I'd much rather watch on TV. I just feel like I'd rather be in the comfort of my own home. I don't need to be, that's okay.
You need like the atmosphere though.
No, it's too much of a hassle.
And the popcorn.
And it smells too much for me.
And on to our first TikTok.
Drum roll, please. It seems as though we're having some technical difficulties.
I think we should just go ahead and describe the TikTok.
Well, my TikTok was about the hurricane that just hit. My best friend lives in Florida. Ooh. So she goes to school at FSU in Tallahassee, and she had to drive 7 hours home to Marco Island because it was going to hit her school. Oh, here we are.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah, this was crazy. The beginning part kind of cut out, but it was like all the water shooting through the window, and it was like, this is somebody's basement.
I honestly couldn't imagine that.
I know. It hit them bad, but it's so normal for them. And what's funny is I actually asked my best friend, once that happens, like, do you ever see like sharks or like manatees just like, and she interrupted me and she was like, no, I don't see sharks or manatees swimming down the street. And I was like, okay.
I saw one video where like a turtle got into somebody's house.
Yes. And she was like, sometimes you see fish, like, and that's weird. And I was like, that's so weird.
Cool, though.
That's weird.
It's a built-in pool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And onto my TikTok. Just them having fun.
Is this like the same thing?
I don't know. I don't know exactly like the location, but I think so. Because look how bad it is.
I feel like this describes men perfectly.
It looks like fun though. Like.
They would golf in these conditions.
But look at it. It looks like a fun time. They're sliding around. They didn't let it ruin it.
No, that would kill my vibe.
I would enjoy it.
Next up, we share some feel-good stories sure to brighten your day. Earth now has a second moon, at least for a while. A newly discovered asteroid is joining the Earth's orbit. Scientists call it the mini-moon. They estimate it's about 37 feet in diameter, but more observations are needed. The mini-moon is expected to orbit the Earth starting Sunday, going through November 25th. That's when the space rock will return to the heliocentric orbit, which is an orbit around the sun. Scientists say the asteroid is more than 2.5 million miles away and is not in danger of colliding with the Earth.
Former President Jimmy Carter is making history. Carter turns 100 years old today, becoming the first president in U.S. history to hit the centennial mark. And a number of events to celebrate are in the works that include a flyover of military jets over his hometown, Plains, Georgia, where a naturalization ceremony and a concert will also be held. According to family members, Carter's birthday wish is to vote in the presidential election.
October is here and the days are cooling off, but it's time for you to warm up with some baking, a plate of fresh baked cookies, because today is National Homemade Cookie Day. It is observed every year on October 1st. You can mark the day by baking your cookie of choice. That could be chocolate chip, sugar, peanut butter, or oatmeal raisin. It doesn't matter which, just bake away and enjoy. Up next, we'll show you what is new at Lewis U. Stay tuned.
Rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my third child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
What are you looking for?
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Today, I'm here with immediate past Kendall County Republican Chairman James Marder. James Marder is running for the U.S. House to represent the Illinois' 14th Congressional District. He is on the ballot in the general election this November and currently serving on the Oswego Public Library Board. He also advanced from the Republican primary on March 19th, 2024. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Frankie and Lewis University. So yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. So my first question for you is, how did you get involved in politics in the first place?
So I always tell folks it was kind of something I never intended to. I was friends with the former village president of Oswego at the time. He was the current one. We met through scouting at a scout camp in the summer through the Boy Scouts, and he kind of nudged me to get involved in a local election, which I ended up being a write-in candidate, ergo I never intended to get involved in the first place. But then I got plugged into the Kendall County Republicans and met people and became a precinct committeeman, and the rest kind of fell from there.
Yeah, well, good for you. My next question is, why did you decide to run for congressman?
So there, I'm going to give two parts to this. One really is a philosophy: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are important to me. It should be important to every American and every person out there. That's it. Technically, it was more as I got involved with the Kendall County Republicans in politics. My state rep was a good Republican, Keith Wheeler. My state senator, Jim Oberweis, was a good Republican. And Randy Holtgren was my congressman at the time, so I wasn't going to run against him at that time. But I saw some opportunity, let's say even further up the ballot, jumped into a bigger race for the United States Senate here in Illinois, and that kind of got the ball rolling. That led to me later becoming the Kendall County Republican chairman by jumping into that big race. So.
Yeah, I feel like you can get really anywhere when you do stuff like that. So good for you. How did you get initially started with everything?
So once you get involved, I mean, running for office, this local election is like, well, if you want to get elected, you have to figure out how to reach out to people. So I got involved. I learned a little bit about the process from friends of mine that were some elected trustees at the time, the village president. What do you do to campaign? And you start doing that. I ended up getting 740 votes as a write-in. I didn't win that race, but it was significant, and that kind of led to the rest of it, was learning how to get out there, campaign, and meet folks and do that.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I feel like consistency really is key, just being able to keep going.
And sticking with it. So perseverance, here I am 9 years after that started, right? So
crazy.
Yes.
What advice would you give to students who are interested in getting into politics in the future?
Really, it's, first of all, do what your first calling in life. I'm Catholic. This is Catholic University. Do your first calling in life. Politics, I don't think, was my calling in life. I just kind of ended up falling into it later. I actually went on a retreat with my church, and we already had 2 kids at that time. And I got involved a little bit, but then I realized that was not the right time for me. So 20-some years later, I get involved in the race I talked to you about, and maybe that was more appropriate. My kids were growing up, and I had more time to do it. But lots of different options for running locally. School boards, I'm an Oswego Library trustee. There's lots of things that for young people to get involved in that don't involve some of these bigger races.
Yeah, and kind of like you said, I feel like you never... At least at my age, I don't know what I'm going to be doing 10 years from now. I have an idea of what I'm interested in, but you have no idea. For all I know, I could be interested in politics in 10 years.
Right. Well, I remember when I was your age in college, and I was like, I had no idea what I was going to do either then, but you were just, moving forward every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my last question is, why do you think it's so important for young voters to get involved in this election?
I think it goes back to, it's really about those principles: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. As I mentioned, I'm Catholic. I got to meet Sister Deidre Byrne at a conference last weekend, a Catholic networking conference. And she was a 30-year Army veteran. She's a nun, and she's a doctor and a surgeon.
Wow.
But she talked about how applying your principles in life and our faith and our principles, those are the things that I think are the most important. Also, maybe just the price of your cup of coffee might be a reason to get involved too. So.
Right, and I feel like, as we talked about earlier, a lot of people don't think their vote matters, but it really does. And when you, for somebody that's my age that doesn't think your vote matters, trust me, it does. It sure does.
And I had a quick example. So there was a person I recruited as the chairman of the Republican Party for a township trustee position. And at the time, there were 2 open seats that we could file write-ins for. If no one else filed, they would be, elected immediately. But one other person filed. We had a 3-way race, and that one young man won by 1 vote as a write-in candidate. So
and that's what I'm saying.
Every vote matters.
It really does. Yep. Well, I want to thank you so much for being here, and thank you to Lewis. So I appreciate you so much.
Yep. Thank you, and I'm glad to be here this morning at Lewis University. So,
I hope you have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.
Of course.
The Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org. Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat.
Well, that is it for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Good Morning Lewis.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.